774 or 718-577-2916. That is our overseas line. You're listening to The Edge for 28th of August 2024. I'm Devonne Cornelius. I want to look at the recently held welcome back service for the Ministry of Education, for teachers here in St. Kitts and Nevis, particularly on the island of St. Kitts. So the Ministry of Education hosted its annual back-to-school opening ceremony for the academic year 2024 to 2025, and it was held under the theme Transforming Education Through Self-Renewal, Holistic Partnerships, Digital Solutions. The ceremony was held on Monday at the St. Kitts Marriott Resort. Minister of Education, the Honorable Dr. Jeffrey Hanley, delivered remarks at the event and addressed the returning members of the fraternity and those who were recently selected as new educators to begin on Monday, September 2nd. He said, quote, "It is with great pleasure that I welcome you to the start of our school year. Today, in a world where a teacher's job has become more multifaceted, their expectations are never ending and the academic stakes ever increasing. It is particularly important for us to recognize you for the tremendous job you do daily. Teachers, you are our Federation's unsung heroes. We recognize and applaud you. I would like to extend a special welcome to our new teachers who are joining our fraternity. We are thrilled they decided to join the teaching profession, and I am certain you will be a great addition to our team," end quote. Dr. Hanley also reaffirmed his commitment to the advancement of education, teacher support, and safe working conditions. The new academic year begins on Monday, September 2nd, 2024. A similar exercise was held on the island of Nevis at the Nevis Performing Arts Center, and it welcomed back to teachers to the fraternity, the teaching fraternity, as well as new teachers from the preschool level right up to the Nevis 6th Form College. Here in St. Kitts, the Ministry of Education has partnered with the St. Kitts National Bank, St. Kitts Nevis Anguilla National Bank, to create a teacher's supply debit card, which will be loaded with 300 EC dollars annually. The Deputy Prime Minister said, quote, "Our hope is as you get to know your students and identify their needs, this teacher supply debit card will be used to purchase additional teaching supplies." It's 11:09 and you're listening to The Edge on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. Let's take a short break, and when we come back, we'll continue our conversation here on The Edge. Stay tuned.
I'm here saying for us to represent, and I'm here representing for Crime Stoppers SKN. And if you have any information to get any perpetrator off the street, call 1-800-8477. All phone calls are anonymous and confidential. So that's 1-800-8477. Easy now, man. Say me no know about you, but me don't think it's bad.
This is a public service announcement from Crime Stoppers St. Kitts and Nevis.
If you know the chief for PC, if you know they try to shoot me, if you know about a break-in or a big drug smuggling, if you know it, tell it. Tell somebody. If you know it, tell it. Tell somebody. Tell 1-800-TIPS. TIPS. Tell Crime Stoppers. Call that number now. Tell 1-800-TIPS. TIPS.
If you know it, tell it. Tell Crime Stoppers. Tell 1-800-8477-TIPS.
Welcome back to The Edge here on ZIZ Radio, 96.1 FM. I'm Devonne Cornelius, and thank you for joining me on the program for today, Wednesday, 28th August 2024. Looking at teachers here in St. Kitts and Nevis and the contribution that they make towards our development. Teachers play a very vital role in shaping the future of children, and I would dare say they are responsible for making and breaking children. And I say that because children spend a considerable amount of time with teachers, and teachers are the ones who would have that impact on the lives of children. And so that is a responsibility that I believe should not be taken very lightly. I'm not a teacher, so I cannot speak as if I know what the day-to-day challenges are of being a teacher. I know that they make a very great sacrifice and a very good contribution towards the development of our nation. They are teachers who go above and beyond. They are teachers who really make a positive change and a positive difference in their society. They are teachers who, they're not just doing it for a paycheck. They're doing it because for the love of children, for the love of the profession, and for the love of sharing information and educating the population. And as I made the statement some time ago here in the program, as it relates to entering the profession of nursing, the same applies for when one decides to enter the profession of education in terms of teaching. Those are very sacred positions, very sacred responsibilities. If you don't have any intention of being a teacher, or if you don't have the passion and the love for it, then you should not be a teacher. That profession should be reserved for people who have that genuine love and passion for children, and that genuine love and passion for educating people. Same thing applies to nurses and what have you. But nevertheless, teachers continue to make a very positive contribution, and I want to say thank you. Thank you to the teachers who have made a very positive impact in our community, in our society. Thank you to the teachers who have been very influential in my life. Teachers who I think made left a positive mark on my life as a young man here in St. Kitts and Nevis, particularly on the island of Nevis. But there are teachers who do some great work, and oftentimes they go unrecognized for the work that they do. Some don't really like the spotlight and out there in the public's eye, because again, they do it for the love, they do it for the passion for it, right? But sometimes there are teachers who I say go unrecognized for the contribution that they make. There are some who go the extra mile, and for that we ought to say thank you. As St. Kitts and Nevis and the wider Caribbean region continue to tackle the issue of juvenile delinquency and crime and violence, teachers, I believe, play a very important role in addressing the issue. And going back to the comments or the opening statement by the Prime Minister at the stakeholder engagement on last Friday, he also spoke to teachers and used the opportunity to encourage teachers to be that positive light, be that light in the lives of the children who you come across, the children who you have to interact with on a day-to-day basis. Give children a second chance. I mean, there's some children who just hell-bent on being mischievous, and I don't want to say that's children, because I don't want it to be the case where I'm encouraging it to be the norm. But there are some children who are not easy to deal with. We all know that, because if you're an adult, no, you were once a child, yes. But there's some teachers, there's some children who are very difficult to deal with, right? And so when one takes up that responsibility of becoming a teacher, there is so much things that you must take into consideration. I was having this conversation last night on my way over, and we were talking about taking up leadership positions. From the outside looking in, it appears as if being in a leadership position, all is well. You're a leader, all you have to do is say yes or no. And I think teachers are leaders. They're the head of the classroom, they're the head of the school, they're the head of whatever unit they're responsible for. And so from the outside looking in, we would always criticize whether it is constructively or not. But we would always say how we believe teachers should approach their job. We would always say how we believe teachers should approach their responsibility of looking after and educating our children. But we are not in their shoes. And so we don't know the day-to-day challenges. We don't know what they have to go through. And in that conversation last night, we spoke about mental fortitude. And I believe that people take that for granted. When you take up a leadership role, it's not just wearing the title, it's not just showing up and saying, hey, I am in charge. But one has to have mental fortitude. Are you mentally prepared to take on this role of being a leader? Because when things begin to go sideways and when things begin to go not how you would want them to go, people are going to look at you. And the first thing that they're going to say is, you're the leader. And so we expect leadership from you. We expect guidance from you. We expect sound advice from you. And I believe that is the case with teachers. They are leaders in the classroom. They are leaders in our schools, within our society. And people continue to look to them for guidance. People continue to look to them for advice. My advice to teachers is to take your mental health very seriously. You have teachers who deal with classroom sizes of 50 and more, some who deal with classroom sizes less than 10, but it does not mean that they are making less of a contribution towards our country's development than those who have students in the 50s and, above. But take your mental health very serious in any leadership position. But for this new school year, I'm encouraging our teachers to take their mental health very serious. I find that here in the Caribbean, we take that for granted. When we take on leadership roles and responsibilities, we just think I'm going to say no to this, I'm going to say no to that. We don't think about the power that we have. And when I say power, it's not money. Most people, and the conversation I was having with this individual last night was very insightful. I was like, wow, I didn't even think about it that way. And they were saying, when you are in a leadership role, it is not just money. It's the power that you have to make changes. Some people abuse that power by being vindictive and bad-minded. Others take advantage of it in a positive way by making a positive impact on the lives of people that they lead. And that is what teachers, I believe, should be doing. Not saying that they're not doing it, but for those of you who are not, you should be doing that. Because you are helping to shape our country's next archaeologist, our country's next prime minister, our country's next doctor, our country's next top farmer, our country's next mechanical engineer, whatever you profession, right? But you are helping to shape our country's future. So when those children come in for kindergarten next week, Monday, you look in your classroom and you say, boy, I have leaders right here. I'm a leader right now because I'm the head of the classroom. That's what you're saying. But I have leaders who are now joining my space. And as a kindergarten teacher, I have to set the foundation I cannot take my role for granted. Because if you have a shaky foundation, then the walls and the roof, they're going to crumble. And so the kindergarten teachers, they have a great responsibility. It's 11:21. We'll open the phone lines and give you the callers an opportunity to say something positive about our nation's teachers, whether you are encouraging them to keep their head above the water, to continue doing what they're doing, or thank them for making their contribution, or make mention of a teacher who you believe has been very influential in your life, and a teacher who you would credit for where you are today. This must have been, it could be as recent as yesterday. It could be as far as back as many moons ago. We'll open the phone lines and you may call us at 465-2555 or 718-577-2916. And our cell number is 662-8674. That is 662-8674. The phone lines are open and we are waiting to hear from you. I took the time to look at a few studies that were done speaking about or focusing on the role of teachers and the role of education. And this one was, well, it touched on a number of things. It looked at the main challenges for education in the region. And there were 7 findings. And the 7 findings, this report was prepared by the Office of Education and Culture at the Department of Human Development, Education and Culture at the Organization of American States, with assistance from the Canadian International Development Agency. And it is a report on issues in teacher education in the Caribbean sub-region, understanding the challenges to promoting democratic ideals in schools. And it identified 7 findings as the main challenges for education in the region. And those findings are: 1, there is a significant proportion of untrained teachers. 2, schools have become overwhelmed by social issues. 3, changing societal values are negatively impacting education. 4, there continues to be a lack of sensitivity to gender issues. 5, teachers lack support in their efforts to change their teaching practice. 6, there is continued reliance on outdated education systems and curricula. And 7, the integration of technology remains a major challenge for education systems in the region. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll dive more into these findings. Let's take this break and we'll be right back.
Is unknown. Protect your life, your family, and your valuables from unforeseen circumstances. Let National Caribbean Insurance give you the peace of mind that you so deserve. At NCI, we offer a suite of affordable insurance plans that can be tailored to ease your financial burden. We aim to deliver exceptional products to satisfy all your insurance needs. Whether life, health, motor, or property insurance, NCI has the right solution for you. Our friendly and knowledgeable sales professionals are ready and able to assist you. Let National Caribbean Insurance Company Limited help you to prepare for the unexpected. We serve, we protect, we satisfy. That's NCI.
Welcome back to The Edge. We have callers on the line. All right, let's take these calls. Hello, caller, you're on the air. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. You have to say something about teachers, right?
Yes.
Yes. All my teachers die. Washi and William. They played a good part in my life, and I want to thank them, even though they did. Right? Mm-hmm. Okay, I want to say something else. I see you in your nice pink shirt. You look very nice, and now you're in your tie. You soon go up further. You look nice. Smile, I'm watching you. No, Mr. Cornelius, if Timothy did not get an invitation, then no, he was the best. What he has done for the boys. And the boys are black. So who is white collar crime? Labor 1 and 2 and 10 man in 1. See you.
Thank you for your contribution. Just making sure that you hang up the phone first. I don't want you to say I cut you off, you know. And anybody say I cut you off. But thank you for your contribution to the program. It's 11:27 and the phone lines remain open. We are taking your calls here on The Edge. In the meantime, let me share with you some more information from these findings. So, finding number 2 focused on schools that have become overwhelmed by societal social issues. And the report shows that growing violence in wider society, including domestic violence and issues of sex and sexuality, were among the major issues cited by these educators as growing concerns for schools. These social challenges in broader society spill over and make their way into the schools, demanding different approaches by educators who were not faced with these issues in the past and have not been trained to deal with them. And so teachers who are now in teachers training college, the professors now have to come up with a different approach as to how they are going to train these teachers, because you have social issues spilling over into the classroom, and you have to prepare teachers to be able to deal with those. It's not just to understand the English and grammar and understand algebra and all of that, but it's understanding how to manage your classroom and manage the issues that surround social issues. Some respondents noted that an encroachment of these larger social issues into life of the schools casts many teachers in the role of crisis managers, with the problem becoming particularly acute in instances where school leadership takes a clear plan or vision for the direction of the school. Educators observed that teachers are ill-equipped to deal with the growing incidence of violence in schools, particularly since teacher preparation programs do not focus on these issues. And so the Ministry of Education here has to take these things into consideration. Perhaps they are, and I give them credit if they are, focusing on those things. Yes, we're not training our teachers to be security guards and police officers. But really and truly, when you take up that responsibility of becoming a teacher, you're taking on the responsibility of becoming a police officer as well, a lawyer, a doctor, a nurse, a mother, a father, a brother, a sister, a friend. Because students are going to be looking at you. You're now there, for some, you're now their role model. And so they will be looking at you. Finding number 3 focused on changing societal values that are negatively impacting education. It says that more than half of educators interviewed cited a change in societal values over time as negatively impacting education in the region. This view was expressed in a number of ways. Some respondents described growing individualistic tendencies in society and movement away from collective and communal values of the past. Others described the change in terms of the adoption of North American popular culture and values by Caribbean youth, causing them to ascribe to different values from elders in society. And so even though our children are in the Caribbean, we are in the Caribbean, we are in St. Kitts and Nevis, a lot of our children are being raised by America, and a lot of the things that they see on social media and on the internet. And I believe this one is not for teachers, this one is for parents and guardians, legal guardians. You have to do a better job in knowing what your 10-year-old child is looking at on the internet. It is not a case where you want to they might take it as you're punishing them. You're just shielding them as much as you possibly can from things that their eyes should not come across. So this one is more so for parents and guardians. Teachers in some cases, but more so parents and guardians. We have a call on the line? Oh, my apologies. So, in the view of some of the respondents, one of the manifestations of these changed values is a cultural dissonance between the expectations of the elders and the outlook of today's youth. One respondent noted that this influence of North American culture on students has been perceived by some adults in society as resulting in increased indiscipline among students and a failure by students to be educationally engaged. The phone lines are open and we are taking your calls at 465-2555, 718-577-2916 or 662-8674. There continues to be the other findings, and I'm going through them. I'm trying to keep them as concise. The other findings, and this one stood out to me, is the integration of technology, and it says that it remains a major challenge for education systems in the region. Almost all the educators interviewed expressed as a challenge to education in the region the need to integrate technology into teaching more effectively. Educators observed that while several initiatives had been funded by regional and international organizations to increase or enhance the use of technology in the classroom, these efforts had largely failed to take root. Accordingly, while in theory education systems might be regarded as technologically equipped, in practice, this was not the case. Let's look at the one-to-one laptop program that we had. Yes, it was a great initiative in getting our children and teachers up to date or with the time. But I think the concerns that people had was the rollout of it. The response to completely stop it was not the best approach in my view. It should have been, I would say, revisited and see how best we can re-implement the program to ensure that it is making sense. In other words, to put it simple, it is making sense, and it's a case where you can see the purpose of having this program in place. It's 11:35 and you're listening to The Edge here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I'm your host Devonne Cornelius, and thank you for joining me in the program for today. If you're just tuning in, the focus today is on teachers and the contribution that they make towards our regional development. And I'm also sharing some findings from a report that focus on the main challenges of teachers in society. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll continue taking your calls at 465-2555. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
From the heart of ZIZ Radio comes a political talk show like no other. The Edge, with host Devonne Cornelius giving you his take on the biggest stories happening in governance today. Got something to say? Let's hear it. Give us a call at 869-465-2555, Monday to Friday from 11 a.m. to 12 noon. One solid hour of in-depth analysis of the machinery that makes our country tick. The Edge, cutting into the matters at hand.
I'm here saying for us to represent, and I'm here representing for Crime Stoppers SKN. And if you have any information to get any perpetrator off the street, call 1-800-8477. All phone calls are anonymous and confidential. So that's 1-800-8477. Easy no man, say me no know about you, but me don't think it's bad.
The future is unknown. Protect your life, your family, and your valuables from unforeseen circumstances. Let National Caribbean Insurance give you the peace of mind that you so deserve. At NCI, we offer a suite of affordable insurance plans that can be tailored to ease your financial burden. We aim to deliver exceptional products to satisfy all your insurance needs. Whether life, health, motor, or property insurance, NCI has the right solution for you. Our friendly and knowledgeable sales professionals are ready and able to assist you. Let National Caribbean Insurance Company Limited help you to prepare for the unexpected. We serve, we protect, we satisfy. That's NCI.
Hello. This is Harper.
Hey people, back to school is cool at Harper. We've got excitement mid-August to mid-September. Spend $100 and get a chance to spin our prize wheel and qualify to enter our grand draw September 18 to swim with the dolphins. Plus, everyone enjoys a 10% discount to mid-September and additional discount on that day. So there's no need to shop online at all, as Harper simply has the largest selection of all. We've got extended hours to 5 p.m. on back to school Saturdays to serve you even better. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram or chat with us via WhatsApp at 665-4878 or call us on 466-6500. We've got back to school discounts and excitement at Harper's.
Welcome back to The Edge in ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I'm Devonne Cornelius, and thank you for joining me in the program for today. It is 11:40, just 20 minutes left before we wrap up our conversation for today and make way for our midday newscast. If you're just tuning in, we are focusing on our teachers today and recognizing the contribution that they make to our society, and looking at a report that was prepared by the OAS, the Organization of American States, and in that report it focused on a few findings. Now I missed two of the findings number 8 and 9, but to go back to 7, it went on, and this is focusing on the integration of technology remains a major challenge. So even here in St. Kitts and Nevis and across the region, we continue to talk about the need to invest more in technology because the world is moving ahead, and we should not be stuck in our archaic thinking. We need to be moving with the world, or else we're going to be left behind. And we should no longer we need to be preparing our children to take up jobs in fields like STEM. So while we're here fighting for the basic, what I would say are basic jobs, in about 30 years or maybe 20 years, these jobs are going to become redundant. And so we need to prepare our children to take up jobs, whether it be in mathematics, engineering, science, technology, and all of that. Yes, it's not every child is going to be interested in taking up a job in that field. But for those children who are, give them that support. Give them that support. I think one of the other issues we've had in the region in terms of the integration of technology is there is this fear, or people, is this something new? And usually things that are new for the first time, people are not very open to it. People are very reserved. And so they tell themselves, but I may really want to try that because I may know how we go. And you often hear the phrase, if it's not broken, then don't fix it. And that's the approach, unfortunately, that people take. Now, several factors were cited by educators to account for this disconnect between rhetoric and reality. So we're saying one thing. We're saying all the nice things that we need in education in terms of technological advancements and all of that. But what exactly are we doing? And the factors cited educators account for the disconnect between the rhetoric and reality, including teachers' relative lack of familiarity with and infrequent use of technology as compared with their students. You have a case in a classroom, the students know more about the technology than the teacher, and that's fine. That's fine in the sense that you're not going to know at your first try, but teachers need to embrace the technology. You are going to get students who are technologically advanced. They know everything about smartphones, computers, laptops, you name it. They know how to fix computers now. So it does not benefit you as a teacher if you want to be stuck in the archaic ways and say, well, I'm not interested in technology, I am not going to use that approach. You're not helping yourself, and you're definitely not helping the children. Educators therefore called for initiatives that would help bridge the gap between students of the digital age and teachers of the analog age. Importantly, however, educators underscored that this trend toward integrating technology must be mindful of the unevenness of access to this technology by students and their families. And so we can sit here and say, let us have more computers in our schools. Let us have more access to, more computers in our schools, more devices and all of these things. But how many students and their families are able to access the full potential or utilize the full potential of these devices? Do they have access to the internet? Are they properly trained? Are they using these computers and devices for its intended purpose? Or are they using them to engage in not so good activities? Are they using them to play games or what have you? Those are some of the things that really need to be looked at. Really need to be looked at and not taken for granted. And I feel over the years it really has. Perhaps you have a few who believe that, hey, this is exactly what we need to do before we implement something of this sort. But I think people take it for granted, and especially in the Caribbean, we change the government every 5-10 years, and so people with the vision and the idea to implement these changes are not able to do so, because unfortunately, and this stunts regional growth and development, where whenever there's a change of administration, most of the ideas and the plans and initiatives that were once there, they're gone with the administration, which is unfortunate. The phone lines are open and we welcome your calls at 11:46. You're listening to The Edge here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. Call us at 465-2555, 662-8674, or 718-577-2916. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll continue the conversation here on The Edge. Stay tuned and we'll be right back.